do with us? What do you want to see for Black women as it relates to mental health and healing?
hmm I really feel like I am feeling very energized right now around groups. So group therapy, just us coming together, I think as Black women tend to do. I think we tend to think about that as like more of a social thing, but I think we often miss the healing that happens when we are connecting and gathering with our sisters. And so I'm currently writing my first book called Sisterhood Heals that really is all about, how we have provided healing spaces for one another and how I would like for us to continue to do that and do a better job of it. And so I'm hoping to kind of continue to talk about group therapy, peer support groups, other kinds of support groups that can be really healing spaces that aren't necessarily individual therapy if that's not something that you're interested in. Because therapy is great, and I'm clearly a huge proponent, but therapy may not be for everyone, and it is definitely not accessible to everyone. But I think that there are other ways that we can heal, and groups, I think, are a primary way to do that.
What do you say for those of us, Dr. Joy, who are uncomfortable with group therapy, who have shame, who have trust issues? Do you have any recommendations for how we can go about either one of two things, choosing a group or letting go of our individual shame so that we can show up and be okay being in that context?
Mhm. So I think first, Olivia, it's really important for us to pay attention to when we have any kind of response like fear or shame or like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to do that, because that is telling us something, right? Like our feelings are messengers. And so it's important for us to pay attention to like, oh, why am I feeling this shame, or what is this shame trying to tell me? And so I want you to know that it's perfectly okay if you feel uncomfortable about a group. Like it's not necessarily the most like familiar place, right? Like to walk into a group of strangers and tell people things that maybe you haven't shared in other places, but it is also incredibly healing. And so I think being able to go to a group and say, I feel really nervous and I don't know if I want to share anything with y'all, that's okay, right? In a healthy group, we can hear that from you and then give you space to get comfortable with everybody and share on your own terms. I think that that's actually a very good exercise in boundary setting, to allow yourself to get comfortable in a space before you share whatever it is that you're hoping to share.
And so, Dr. Joy, can we go to therapyforblackgirls.com, look at the directory that's go to your directory? Can we find different therapists that offer group therapy? How can we find a group therapist?
Yeah, you definitely can find that. So right now you would just have to look at, individual therapists in your area to see if they offer groups. Okay. We are making some updates to the directory as we speak. And so we do hope to make it easier for you to find groups in your area.